Hello. In today's video, I want to talk about Terraform variables, what kind of variables Terraform has and how he can use it. I can create variable in any file. For example, I can create variable right here, but usually for variables, I'm creating the separate file with the name variables.tf. Variables.tf. And now I can define all my variables here. And I'm going to create a variable with the name instance type. And I will use this variable to set what instance type I'm going to use when I'm creating this in the AWS. And I can leave variable as it is. It will work, but it's not very obvious like why do we need this variable and how it's used. So I can add few additional attributes to this variables block. So first is the default. So when I specify the default block, if variable are not specified anywhere else, this default value will be used. So I would have as default value T2 micro. Also, I can add a description. It's for someone to understand like why this variable is created and how it's used. So I would add something like instance type for test instance. And lastly, this is the type. I can specify here, I can use with type, I can use without type, because I have the default value, so it's already clear what is type of the variable, but I can additionally specify that this should be the string. And how can I use this variable right now? Let me go to the main.tf where I have specified T2 micro, and I can specify here as var instance type. And now, when I will try to run the Terraform, it will successfully show me that instance going to be created is type T2 micro, because I'm using the default value because I'm not overriding this variable anywhere. But how can I specify other instances type? There is like really 4 ways how to do it. So first is pretty simple. I can specify in the terminal, I can do as var and then instance type, and let's try something like T3 micro. And now I can run Terraform plan, and it should detect that no longer default value is used, and it's going to create instance type with T2 T3 micro. Another way is to using the environment variables. So I can export the environment variable instance type, but because this is the Terraform, all the variables environment need to start as tfvar, and then I can do instance type equal to m5 large, for example. So I can verify by printing this variable tfvar instance type. It has value as m5 large, and now I can run just Terraform plan without any additional options, and it should automatically detect that instance need to be created as m5 large. Yes. So next to options is to using the var file. So I can go back here, but first I would need to unset this variable. So I can do unset and remove $sign. And now when I print this variable, it's empty. Okay. And now I'm going to create var file. I can name it something like prot.tfvars. And inside of this file, I'm going to specify instance type C5 large. Then I can go back to the terminal. I can run Terraform plan, and I need to specify which var file I'm going to use. So it will be var file equal to prot.tfvars, and I'm going to run Terraform apply, Terraform plan. And this time instance should be type F of C5 large. So, and last option is to using the auto TF vars. So what's the difference between auto TF vars and just TF vars? So I can just simply rename this file by adding here auto, and I would put something like R5 large. And now I can just simply run Terraform plan without specifying any other like options to the Terraform plan, and it should automatically identify that this file exists and read data from this file. R5 large. So this is the Terraform global variables which we can override from the multiple locations, but also Terraform has the locals variables. This is the variables which is like if talking about the programming languages inside of the function, we have some local variables which is not available from the outside of the function. So I can do the same here. I can define block locals here. And let's, for example, imagine that we want to move this subnet ID here because we are reusing this subnet ID in many other places, and it's easier to manage when it's in one location. So I defined the block locals. Inside of the block locals, I have subnet ID. So now I can replace this by local. And oh, I copied, sorry. I copied the security group, but it needs to be the subnet ID. Okay. And here will be the local subnet ID. And now I can run just Terraform plan. And it should reuse the value from my local. So subnet ID is the same. Another useful feature of Terraform, this is the data block. So how to use data block? Data block allows to receive information from the AWS or from other cloud providers. And this is useful when you have some resources created not by this Terraform, but maybe you have, for example, for the VPC, you have separate Terraform which will create VPC, but here you need to reuse. And it's not very convenient to use like these hard-coded values. It's better to dynamically retrieve them because those values can be changed, and in this case Terraform like it's not going to work. And I will show you how to do data block by dynamically retrieving the AWS AMI ID. I can also define the data block anywhere else, but I prefer to create the file with the name data.tf, and I can define my data block. And I'm going to use AWS AMI, and I need to provide name. Will be Amazon because I'm going to dynamically retrieve AMI of Amazon Linux. And I need to provide here a few attributes. First is most recent. It's if I want to always receive the latest version of available AMI. Next one, oh sorry, I didn't put through here. Next one is the owners. Owners, this should be AWS account ID or alias who own this AMI. Because this is the Amazon Linux, I can specify here just Amazon. And finally, I need to provide the filter. This is how, because Amazon provide not only one AMI, but multiple, I need somehow filter exactly Amazon Linux 2, which I need. So, and here is two parameter required, name. So, and I will put name here because I'm going to use name attribute of AMI as filter, and as values, I need to provide the list of values. And because I'm going to I want Amazon Linux 2, so I would add here as AMZN2 AMI and kernel, and rest of the name I can put star because it's not really important for me, because there is like the version, there is the date and some other information which is dynamically changed from AMI to AMI, and I need here just the static values, which is never changed. So once I have this, I can go to my main.tf, and here I have the hard-coded EMI values. I can put here as data.aws AMI AMZN, because this is the name of my data block. And finally, I need the ID. So I would put here ID. And now when I run Terraform apply or Terraform plan, first it should run the data block to discover this AMI information. As you may see, it was executed at the beginning, data AWS AMI reading, and it discovered the AMI ID. And now this AMI ID is used in my code. Okay. That's all for today. Thank you for your attention.